everybody. Welcome back to the Skookum Report. I'm sorry I haven't been posting as much recently. I've been a little under the weather, but I'm doing a lot better now. And I have 2 brand new Bigfoot encounters for y'all tonight. And I received an email from the friends and family of the late Bobby Short, a Bigfoot researcher, as some of you might know from the Bigfoot circles. She was working on a book called The De Facto Sasquatch. And when she passed, it wasn't quite finished, and her friend edited what she had put together. And I got a copy of that given to me, like I said, by her friends and family, and they don't want any money made off of it. They just wanted it shared as a culmination of her work. And this is a couple encounters from that work, and it was called The De Facto Sasquatch by Bobby Short. This is one of those Bigfoot encounters. Witnesses hit Bigfoot with their car, and it limps off. This happened in 2007. The witness had just gotten off work early and was traveling down 200 North. One of his co-workers was traveling in front of him, a good 300 feet or so at least, when he noticed that he had swerved rather fast. So the witness expected a deer to come running out or something, but that was not the case. What he saw was a black furry animal on 2 legs, walking all hunched over. He quickly tried avoiding it, but he believes he clipped it with the back end of his vehicle. He stopped, not sure what had just happened, and started looking in his driver's side mirror. He didn't see anything for a few seconds, but then something stood up right behind his Explorer. Terrified, the witness rolled down his window, and he could see the fear on his friend's eyes, who confirmed that they had seen the same creature. And he turned around and went back to see, and they both heard it howling. The witness looked through the windshield and saw the creature trying to stand up on 2 legs again, but he kept falling over. It eventually got on all 4s and ran off into the woods. The 2 men got out of their vehicles to take a look around, but didn't see anything. However, they did notice a large, fat, mouse-type gerbil-looking rodent on the side of the road, which wasn't afraid of them at all. They actually picked it up and put it back off into the grass. And that was the end of that one. That's really interesting. I wonder if the Bigfoot had caught that thing and was running across the road when he got hit and dropped it. He says, "I'm a 73-year-old man, and when I was 13 years old, I was on a holiday with my parents in Bedford, Maine. It was a sunny, chilly day in April. I told my parents I was going for a walk along an estuary leading out to the ocean. When I came close to the flowing, chilly water, I saw a winding stream with sandbanks rising about 5 feet in front of me. As I climbed up onto one of the banks to look at the water a few feet in front of me, what I saw was a figure floating on its back, coming in with the tide. I'd say we spotted each other around about the same time, so I had just stepped up onto the dune from the land side, and it was 4 or 5 steps, and I was on top of the dune. I looked down at the water, and there he was, right in front of me. I can easily think about that moment again, and I had no idea what I was looking at. I could see him so clearly, even his hairs as they swirled around his body in the water. Now, mind you, at this time of my life, I had never even heard of Yetis or Bigfoot or anything like that, and never even read about them. I never knew they existed at 13 years of age. But this figure had the shape of a man with grayish hair and a hairless, pinkish to reddish face with no hair on it. Although I had read about Bigfoot through the years, I never put the 2 and 2 together in recent years. I guess one reason is that this guy had grayish white hair, and I guess I didn't really think it was a Bigfoot. This guy had no breasts that I could see. Only while reading about Bigfoot recently did I notice that the occasional whitish gray one may appear, so I got excited and had to write about it. The rest of his body had hair which moved as the water washed around him. He was on his back and floating in head first. He was no more than 12 to 15 feet from me. He didn't move one bit as I gazed at him, and his arms were to his side and he laid motionless, but the incoming water was moving him along the creek at around 3 to 4 miles per hour. His body was barely awash, meaning he was floating on top of the water, about a half inch of water covering his whole body, except for his pinkish reddish face, which floated out of the water. I'd say from the front of where his ears should be and the front of his face, his nose, eyes, and mouth were out of the water. His facial skin looked wrinkly. Not a lot, but he had mostly deep wrinkles on his face. Another thing about his face is the skin was bare, not even a whisker, no hair at all on his face. One more thing about the amount of facial reddishness was it looked like a sunburnt man. He showed no facial expression, only his eyes moved over to me, and that was a little scary to me, but I stood there and stared back at him, and I don't think I shared any expression. On the hair was about 6 to 8 inches long and loosely floated around his body, like I said. It looked like it was the consistency or thickness of a golden retriever dog. Not thick and matted like other Bigfoot reports I've heard, and I did notice his knees hairy and slightly bent up and still just below the water. While I was watching him, I saw no effort to move his hands or arms. He easily drifted in without any body, arm, or hand movement that I noticed. I will never forget how I felt during the brief time that I saw him. There was a deep soul connection that overcame me. I felt very peaceful and very calm during the whole time. I think I said that this guy was about 12 feet from me, maybe even a little closer. I want to go back to where I saw him someday in hopes of connecting with him or his children. I thought it would be hard for me to walk down the little dune and follow him, and I don't think I would have, since the dune led right into the water and I would have gotten soaking wet anyways. Besides, I was so startled I could only look at him. Having never heard of these creatures, I ran through my mind every creature that I had ever seen, and this didn't exist in my vocabulary of known animals. I was always interested in animals and never saw anything like this at all. I was gazing at him, and he looked up at me, and we had an eye-to-eye connection, which only lasted a few seconds. And I can't say for sure, but I think his eyes were a grayish blue in color. He felt very kindly to me, and he wasn't startled, and I wasn't either. I'll never forget this moment, and it's clear as a bell to me 63 years later. I ran home to my parents, who were in the house all along the beach, and excitedly told them what I had seen. They didn't pay much attention to me and thought I had seen a seal or a walrus or some other kind of animal like that. I never thought much about it and kind of forgot about it for many years until later I began to hear and read about Bigfoot and never put what I saw together. The reason was that all these reports I have read and the creatures were never grayish white. They were all very tall, and this guy looked to be only about 6 feet in length, no more. But finally, about 10 years ago, I realized that this might have been a Yeti. What else could it be? I feel a deep connection to Bigfoot, and my experience will always be with me. And I keep my sighting mostly to myself, and thought that what I saw might help in some small way others to help them understand what is going on. You may publish this and use this as you wish. That's it for that one. That's pretty amazing. Imagine running up a sand dune and seeing this Bigfoot floating in with the current on its back. Especially being gray and grayish whitish and that pink reddish skin on the face with no hair at all. And then connecting, having that eye-to-eye contact, that would probably freak me out a little bit. I don't know. But he got that peaceful feeling. Some people talk about, having either a scared, dark, impending doom feeling. And I've heard some people talk about the peaceful, serene feeling, like completely at ease. But if you have a Bigfoot encounter or a sighting, or you know anybody who has had one and you want it to be shared on the channel, just shoot me an email at skookumreport@gmail.com. That's skookumreport@gmail.com. And I'll be sure to get it up on the channel for you, no problem. And don't forget to subscribe and click that bell for notifications the next time I put out another video. And leave a comment and say hi. I enjoy talking with you guys. And I want to thank the friends and family of Bobby Short once again for emailing me all this great material. And I will try to keep her memory alive by sharing this stuff over the next few months or even years. There's a lot of it, and it's all good stuff, and I really appreciate it. So thank y'all for coming back to the Skookum Report, and I'll see you again real soon, alright? You take care, and God bless. Bye-bye.